The winner gets North Dakota State tomorrow, and we are underway here from the Denny. Great to have you with us. Western Illinois, they have had a habit of knocking off top seeds in recent seasons in this tournament, trying to do so again here tonight. There are your starters for the Leathernecks, brought to you by Dakota Bank. Rob Jeter in his second season relying heavily on his starting five this year. One of those players, Will Carius, who fires up the three just off the mark. There are your starters for ORU. Good take by Kareem Thompson, the junior from Alabama, right to the tin. A starter a season ago for the Golden Eagles, getting things started tonight. Nice job of spreading the floor in transition. Lufile ran the floor, a rim run. They had to go with him. He took his defender with him. That allowed the driving angle. There is Trenton Masner now. Young man from Wapello, Iowa, in his first season with the program, cannot connect. The defense by the Golden Eagles. Basketball in the hands now of Max Asmus, an All-American 4 times over last season. Here's the skip, Isaac McBride, all-conference honorable mention this year in his first season with the program. Thompson able to get by Masner, tough finish, off the window and in. Nice use of the crossover and change of pace. What that did, Alex, it got the defender up out of his stance, which allowed Thompson to get his shoulders by. Carius now going to work. The passing here is it's going to be Colton Sandage firing up the three, one of the better three-point shooters in the conference, unable to connect. And you can see that Western Illinois is really kind of giving up the offensive rebound. They don't want Oral Roberts to get out in transition. You saw all 5 purple jerseys really retreating on that initial offering. Masner anticipating the pass from McBride and forcing the turnover. The whistle gives us a chance to check out today's BillionAuto.com's keys to the game. Well, for Western Illinois, it's pretty self-evident. They have to defend the three-point arc. Oral Roberts makes 12 per ball game. Max Asmus as good as anyone you're going to find. And for Oral Roberts, they have to keep their eyes on this young man. Masner so much runs through what the Leathernecks try to do. They want to get the ball out of his hands, try to make him a playmaker for others. Slow start for Masner and Western on the offensive end, 0 for 3. Lufile able to collect and finish on second attempt. Elijah Lufile, a load inside to deal with. That's the old Moses Malone. Put it up there, miss it, go get your own. Get an extra rebound. Good start here for the team from Tulsa. A 6-0 advantage for Paul Mills and the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles. Luka Barisic, the grad student from Croatia. His first season with the program. Fouled on the way up. A couple of free throws coming for the 6'10" post. And not necessarily the best foul you're going to see from Oral Roberts for this reason. They forced him to put the ball on the floor, and you had 2 defenders there. If they maintain verticality and he's able to knock down a jump shot over 2 guys 6'9" plus, then you've got a story, but they bailed him out by hacking him. Rob Jeter thought that was going to be a shooting foul. We did too, it is not. Samel Pearson able to knock down the jumper from the free throw line. Good job by Pearson of making himself available on that strong cut. Got in that mid-post area. Was able to shoot unobstructed. Good job. Francis Latsis coming back the other way. First triple of the ball game for either side. And you've got to find him. Latsis, even though he's big, Alex, he shoots north of 40%, 43% from behind the arc on the year. Latsis 29 starts this season, every game for the young man from Latvia. Pearson back-to-back jumpers from 18 feet away. First one came on a good strong flash, understanding that he had his defender out of his comfort zone defensively, put the ball, one dribble, rhythm dribble, rose up, didn't drive into a charge. Here's McBride at the other end, too strong. Lufile on the offensive glass. Look at the big man going to work. Barisic, though, able to hold his grounds. I hope they got a dental plan in Macomb because he may need it. Here's Carius now on the take. And he gets the roll here in Sioux Falls. Alex, how about the response by Western Illinois after Oral Roberts came out and scored the first 6 of the ball game? Western Illinois with a nice response. 9-6 our score. Battle for the basketball picked up by Thompson. The kick out to Asmus. First look for the All-American. This one off the mark. Another offensive board by Lufile. Good job of rebounding out of his area, showing you why he gets 3 offensive rebounds per ball game. McBride, the step back. Lufile once again in the finish.
You may have to have two guys block him out, because people at home may say, hey, the guy ended up on the deck. That was just strength. Everyone talks about upper body strength. You saw the importance of having strength from the hips down, because he was just able to get inside position when that shot was en route.
Advantage on the boards right now, 8-1 in favor of ORU. Here's McBride in transition on the easy finish.
And Lufile would better make sure that you are down low and have your hips into Lufile, because if not, you may end up sitting over here next to us.
Elijah Lufile, 6 rebounds already in the opening 4.5 minutes. He's on the bench right now. A quick rest for the big man, Deshang Weaver, on for the first time tonight. Sandage thought he was fouled on the three-point attempt, did not draw iron. McBride, the former Vanderbilt Commodore, trying to get by Sandage here and is fouled on the way up.
And I got to tell you, that was a foul of frustration by Sandage, because to your point, Alex, he thought he was fouled on the other end of the floor, and here he did a pretty good job of moving his feet, but then you saw him reach down and grab.
Rob Jeter doing a phenomenal job in his second season in charge of Western Illinois. They closed last year strong. They started this year 9-2 in non-conference play, able to earn the 6th seed. That's the highest they've been since they won the Summit League back in 2013. Trying to get this program back into relevance in this conference. One of the OG members of the Mid-Continent Conference, going back to 1983. Entry feed by Masner, knocked out by Weaver. Possession will stay here. 13-6 our score. Western Illinois 3 of 8 from the floor so far. Trying to get something going on this end. Masner so far held in check. George Dixon fouled on the floor. Losses the guilty party.
Kind of an interesting defensive look there. Almost looked like a triangle and two. Off that situation, you had the two post players, which were really clogging things up in the lane. They understand that you don't have somebody out there that's a really consistent three-point threat. They were just clogging up any kind of driving angle.
Karius now double teamed. Dixon inside, able to power his way up. Got a little bit of Carlos Jurgens with them that time.
But a good, strong cut. And watch where he keeps the ball. Keeps it high. Okay? He doesn't bring it down, because what you're going to have, if he brings that down, chances are it's a steal or a tie-up. And that's a basketball move. And Dixon, he got his money's worth.
George Dixon, 6'5", 230, out of Milwaukee. Spent last season in Eastern Illinois. A couple of years at the JUCO level, won a national title back in 2019. Played a lot of basketball after high school, finishing out his career here. Able to connect on 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Carlos Jurgens, the junior from Estonia, trying to get Pearson off the dribble.
Good job by Pearson moving his feet.
Trey Phipps now, the sophomore guard, to Weaver. Deshang Weaver on the pull-up.
Nice job by Deshang Weaver of filling in behind and making himself available, because if he doesn't take that extra step, that passing angle isn't there. And Weaver, one of the elite shot blockers in the Summit League as well.
He's a tough man to defend at 6'7", 6'8", in those long arms. Good read that time by Jurgens. Western maintains possession. Perisic.
Nice.
The feed inside. Pearson able to finish on the reverse.
Good job by Pearson of sliding. And Dixon, how about the lift he's given? Coming in, getting a couple foul shots, and then the high-low action by the Leathernecks. Nicely done.
Nice spark off the bench for the senior. 6-point ball game. Asmus. Blocked by Masner.
Good job by Masner. When Asmus, watch him turn the corner here, and then watch how Masner fades away. That allows him then to come over and utilize the length. Asmus was trying to get his shoulder into him, and Masner wouldn't have anything to do with it.
Trenton Asner, second-team All-Conference, a member of the All-Defensive team and the All-Newcomer team as well. Colton Sandage this time, his backcourt mate, coming up with the swat on the drive by Phipps. Chance now for Western Illinois to get a little closer. Masner the pull up in front of Lopsis, and he knocks it down. A difficult three in the corner for Trenton Masner. He's on the board. WIU back within 3.
Nice job of kind of rocking the defender to sleep. Then that crossover led him right into the shooting motion. Nice job by the all-conference performer.
Weaver on the drive, stripped on the way up by Carius. Great save though, out to Phipps.
Nice block out by Dixon. He has given Western Illinois a nice lift off the bench.
Masner now can't go back to back. No second chance opportunity. Weaver cleaning up the glass. Asmus able to split the defense and finish. He's just 6 foot tall, but he gets to the rim with ease against anybody in the country.
And because of his ability to shoot it from deep, defenders have to close out aggressively. He used a little bit of a hesitation dribble. That got the defender up out of his stance. He was able to turn the corner and do the rest.
Masner off the mark this time. And you know what? They're in a lot of different ways. High-scoring clubs. They can get up and down. They split the regular season series. Both of those games came down to the wire. So far, ORU has had the better of play early. McBride on the take this time. Can't get the finish. George Dixon with the foul on the body.
Good job by Oral Roberts, Alex. Watch how the floor is spread. And then you see Lufile kind of vacate the area. That took his defender with him. Dixon knew he had to go over there to take away the drop-off and was just a little late coming over for the challenge.
You think of ORU as this team that shoots a ton of threes, and that's true, obviously. Tops in the Summit in three-point field goals made per game. They've gotten the job done, though, in the paint. They've been aggressive. 14 points in the paint of their 18 thus far. McBride able to knock down both free throws. Aggressive defense by ORU.
And it's paid dividends. Look, they haven't even been able to penetrate the three-point line, and half the shot clock has elapsed.
Masner with Lufile on the switch. Barisic with a hefty size advantage on Phipps. Will swing it to Sandage. 2 to shoot for Masner. Knocks down the long triple.
Great shot by Masner, but how about the pass by Sandage? He was tiptoeing that far sideline and had the presence of mind to kind of have that touch pass. That was a very difficult play by Sandage.
Great look. Big time shot. Lufile able to body the man. Create a little space and finish.
I love it when guys know what their job is. I'm not fading away. I'm going to put my shoulder to the rim and be efficient.
6 points, 6 boards for Elijah Lufile, the redshirt senior from Ontario. Nasser unable to connect on the other end. He's got 6 to lead Western. Jurgens, the Euro step from the young man from Estonia. Oral Roberts shooting 53% in the opening 10 minutes of this first half. Good look for Carius for 3.
You can live with that. He's a pretty good three-point shooter, and it came off a good ball reversal, just not able to knock it down.
Lufile once more, blocked from behind by Barisic.
And that's a rare mistake by Lufile. He put the ball on the floor and let the weak side help come over.
How many times in your career, Sean, did a coach tell you,
Countless.
Don't put the ball on the ground?
Don't go from 6'9" to 5'9".
Let's send things over to Elena Lanston now.
Thanks, Alex. Coach Jeter said to the guys, we need more action under the hoop on both ends. Give them space defensively, draw them in. They do not want us to guard them inside, so allow them to think that they can get that easy shot underneath the hoop offensively. They want to see 3 kills before halftime and get the players around to help out and get it inside.
Simple message from a coach that has a lot of experience, not just in this tournament, obviously just his second season in the Summit League, but went to a couple of NCAAs about 10 years ago or so in the Horizon League. It's been 11 seasons as the head coach of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. A lot of success there the last couple of years with Minnesota. This team trying to fight their way back here in the first half. The shot by Barisic, who was all-conference honorable mention this season, off the mark. Last touched by a teammate. Basketball to ORU. 8-point advantage for the Golden Eagles. Just 2 points so far for Max Asmus, but he's found his teammates. Lotsis off the mark this time on a good look for 3.
Nice job by Lotsis on the little pick and roll. They're just not able to convert. Good look in that early offense by Oral Roberts.
Barisic on the post up. Sandage, Lotsis closing out and maybe affected the shot. Western Illinois still no offensive rebounds. It's been one and done all evening for the Leathernecks. Asmus now for 3! Max Asmus showing off the range.
And the utilization of the ball fake created just enough space to allow him to get that thing up there, and that was deep, Alex, to your point.
39% from 3 this season for midcourt Max. Turnover here for Western Illinois, stepping on the end line. 8:31 left in the first. Just for a moment, I thought Nasner even got a touch on that basketball.
Pass fake, defender bites, bottoms.
The reigning tournament MVP. Here is Asmus on the drive, high off the window. Lufile keeping it alive for a moment. And again, but it eventually comes to Nasner in the end. Western 0 for their last 4. That snaps a drought to Mel Pearson. The Chicago native able to knock it down. He's 4 for 4 now in this contest.
A couple from the high post. Nice job of understanding that he was taking Lufile away from his comfort zone defensively in that short corner.
8 points in 9 minutes for Pearson. McBride able to answer right back. 7 now for Isaac McBride, the 6-foot sophomore. 3 triples for ORU, including back-to-back trays for their 2 backcourt mates. Sandage, too strong.
Good contest. That had forced him to put a little bit more arc underneath it. He kind of wished that thing was going in rather than shoot it.
Biggest lead of the night for ORU, up by 12. McBride.
Well, he wants to take it.
Got the 3 up and over Barisic, but could not connect.
Pretty good job by Barisic of keeping the player in front of him because they were trying to isolate him out there on that high post.
Nasner finds himself in some space in the paint and knocks down the jumper.
And keeping that dribble alive with his head up. And because he had his head up, he could see when the defense was coming down there. He used that little fan dribble, Alex, to create that opportunity there in the lane. Nice job by Nasner.
Trenton Nasner, the junior, averaging nearly 18 points per game in Summit League play. Second in the conference in assists, first in steals. Thompson the miss. Who else? Elijah Lufile on the inside for the O-board and putback.
Did not allow himself to be boxed out. He released contact. They tried to get a body on him, but he released and then got the inside position. Nice job by Lufile there.
Lufile with 5 offensive rebounds, 8 points, 8 boards. Nearly a double-double in the first half. Mel Pearson, meanwhile, now in double figures, 10 points, 5 for 5 from the floor, 11 minutes of action. Efficient basketball for the young man from Chicago. Asmus to Lotsis.
I mean, that's just work. I mean, you need a Sherpa and 3 days supplies to get around him. If you let him get in front of you, and he's not just stationary. He came up underneath the basket and then reversed the inside position. Lufile, look, he rebounds out of his area as well, but once that shot goes up, he understands angles and positions as well as anybody I've seen this year.
Lufile, the Everest of big men in the Summit League. First miss of the night for Pearson. First offensive rebound, though, for Western Illinois. Sandage, the long 3.
Good contest. Good contest. Been on the offensive end of the floor. Very, very active and a really savvy coaching job by Paul Mills here. Now we're coming up very closely on the under 4-minute timeout. So you're able to get Lufile a little bit of extra rest without a whole lot of clock time going off.
The alley-oop, ace-miss to Latsis. Western Illinois falling asleep a bit on the defensive end. Great vision. Francis Latsis, 5 points now. Carius yet to really get going for Western Illinois. One of their leading scorers unable to connect here.
And Carius missed Masner wide open on the opposite side. Masner was teeing up for a three. Carius didn't see him.
Latsis shorts on his 3 attempts. ORU now 3 of 9 from behind the arc, but they have gotten the job done in the paint. 24 points inside the lane tonight as Masner got it to Dixon, who threw it off Asmus, but it bounces right back off the hip of the Leatherneck forward. Tough break that time on a good hustle play from the senior. 14-point ball game, 4 minutes to go. It's been one of those nights here for the Leatherneck
it is,
so
it
far.
really has. Can't fault the effort, to your point.
George Dixon providing a good spark for WIU this evening. They still trail though by 14 to Shang Weaver. Cameron Burrell on the rebounds. First action of the night for the 6'7" junior. Barisic will try his luck and knocks down the long tray from the wing. Luka Barisic, 33% from deep, capable to step out and knock down the shot.
You know, the last 9 or 10 ball games has really come on offensively. Had a period of time in early February where he was averaging a double-double for the Leathernecks.
Masner now with the steal. Asmus able to swipe it right back.
For Western Illinois, they're going to need more production though from Barisic and company.
And they're also going to need to rebound better. Only 2 offensive rebounds. Backcourt side to Alex and Sean.
Thanks, fellas. There is that man Mountain going back to work with the left this time. What can't he do, Sean Morris?
Well, I tell you what he did do there is that, first of all, he can't do anything subtly, because that duck in, he got Barisic on his hip and it was over.
Pearson now trying to go to work against Lufile, who's got 12 points. To Mel Pearson, 12 of his own. He has carried the Leathernecks offensively.
I don't think he's missed a shot. Is he still perfect?
5 of 6, just the 1 miss. Now 6 of 7, excuse me.
Oh, you got to bench him. He missed one.
Both Pearson and Lufile already over their season averages in the first half. Lufile once again up strong over Barisic.
How about catching, putting the ball down, coming under control, and then so important, put his shoulder right to the rim. The defender did not have a chance.
Lufile averages 8 points, 7 boards a night. He had just started once in the previous 26 games that he had played in this season for Paul Mills. He has taken advantage of the opportunity this evening. He did have 18 points in the first meeting against Western Illinois. Was perfect from the field, 8 for 8 off the bench. Paul Mills certainly saw something in that contest to put him into the starting 5 this evening, and he has been outstanding. 14 points, 9 rebounds. His team has a 13-point advantage. Cameron Burrell at the free throw line trying to carve into that a little bit with 2:09 left in the first. Western now 1 of 3 from the line tonight. Make that 1 of 4. Jurgens, too strong. Burrell tried to get it in the hands of Masner. Lastis was standing right there.
That's a shame for Burrell. He did a pretty good rebound, and then you could tell that this is a young guy that doesn't get a ton of time because he kind of panicked in that situation.
Just 11 minutes a game for Cameron Burrell. Missed the free throws at one end. Just a mental mistake at the other, but it doesn't cost him though. Turnover by ORU gives the basketball back to Western. Seconds to play in this first half. The Leathernecks need a spark down the stretch. Pearson, great spin in the finish with the left.
Boy, Pearson playing so confidently, but it was an excellent post feed by Masner. He, again, playing with his head up. It may sound simplistic because it is, but so many guys drop their head. If Masner does that, he doesn't see Pearson on the duck in.
A. Smith at the other end with the teardrop. 7 points tonight for A. Smith. He's not had to carry the load this evening.
And he's unselfish as well, as witnessed by the fact he averages right around 4 assists per game.
Yeah, one of the top assist men in the conference. Pearson with the head of steam.
Woo! That's a shame, because that was a fantastic move.
Yeah, everything but the finish that time. A. Smith now in transition. The pull-up tray.
There's push-off. Yeah, they're going the other way.
File called for his second personal. 44.5 seconds left in the first half as Paul Mills looks on.
You know what, Alex? If Lafile pushes you, it's going to be pretty obvious because you don't have to fake moving.
You will not be in the same position you were when he makes contact with you.
That's simple physics there.
File and Jurgens getting a breather in those 2 personals. Forcing Paul Mills' hand as Masner knocks down a tray. That is a big bucket for Western Illinois to get back within 10. Can they get a stop now with the shot clock turned off?
Yeah, that was big because that shot, if they're able to kind of clean up here, maybe get it under double digits, boy, that would be something with the way that Oral Roberts has come out here in the first 12 to 14 minutes and built a 14, 15-point lead.
A. Smith. McBride with 5 to shoot. Isaac McBride off the window and in. ORU gets the basketball to get things started. Sean, if you're Paul Mills, you got to be happy with how the opening 20 minutes went. More of the same from this group you expect in the second?
Especially on the backboards, and Western Illinois kind of countering here. The little bit of a zone look coming out of halftime.
And they force the turnover right off the bats.
Kind of a wrinkle there. They showed initially a 1-3-1 look. Then it went to a matchup, and Oral Roberts uncharacteristically didn't recognize it right away. And fortunately, it was not a live ball turnover for the Golden Eagles.
Just the 4th giveaway of the game for ORU. Trenton Masner able to activate and make them pay. Masner now into double figures, joining Pearson. He's got 11.
And he just plays with such great pace. You know, he plays at his own speed. He doesn't allow himself to get sped up and out of control, and he changes pace really, really well.
Masner in his first season with the program. Spent the last 2 seasons at Northwestern State in the Southland, was second-team all-conference in that league a season ago as Kareem Thompson misfires from deep. Their second chance opportunity this time for an ORU team that has lived on the offensive glass tonight.
And what they're doing and kind of mixing and matching their defenses, they've taken away the dribble drive, which freed up so many opportunities either for the primary driver or a drop-off. And Western Illinois with a nice defensive adjustment here in the first couple of minutes of the second half.
The long 3 from Masner a moment ago off the mark. He's now 3 of 6 from deep. A. Smith up and over Barisic. Thompson the offensive rebounds. A. Smith for 3. Pearson able to collect.
Nice block out by Pearson. Got his body in there, got his hip into Lafile, didn't allow him to get yet another offensive rebound.
ORU a plus 13 on the glass tonight, and now a steal by Latsis. Ball was touched that time by Carius. Possession will stay with Oral Roberts.
Good hustle play by Carius because that dribble drive, they were sliding that shooter into the corner. If Carius doesn't get it with the fingertip, chances are that's a 3-pointer for Oral Roberts.
Thompson up and over Sandage, too strong. The long rebound to Carius.
Nice job of Barisic right there of getting Lafile on his hip. Good job of understanding what didn't work in the first half and countering.
Lafile up strong. That was Pearson who hit the ground hard, and he has stayed down. Sanel getting back on his feet, one of the stars of this Western team in the first half. Watch out! Ooh. Elijah Lafile. That is a big man taking flight. He has got 16. Mel Pearson just gave the thumbs up, by the way, to the Western Illinois bench after he sustained this.
Yeah, that was just strength on strength. And Pearson is not exactly a small guy. And I think what it did is it kind of knocked the wind out of him. When you land as hard as Pearson did, but how about Lafile not becoming a spectator, running the floor? That's how you shoot 73%, Alex.
Did you notice Luka Barisic did not attempt to contest? He does, however, light up a tray on the other end. Luka Barisic showing off the range. Now 2 for 2 from deep. He's got 6. All of a sudden, Sean, 45-36, a 9-point lead. Lufile tied up this time with Sandage. Possession arrow pointing the way of the Leathernecks.
How about Sandage? The willingness to stick his nose in there. Watch him come from the weak side. That's a profile in courage.
Colton Sandage at 6'2", giving up a couple of inches and 1 or 2 LBs in that particular matchup. Lufile, by the way, now 16 points, 10 rebounds. It is his 5th double-double in his last 7 games. He's really picked up the pace over the last couple of weeks of the regular season. Foul on the floor. Basketball will stay with Western Illinois. Big possession here for the Leathernecks, down by 9, early stages of the second. Can you chip into this lead a little bit more? They've trailed by as many as 14 in this game. Double team now, Barisic gets out of it, up to Massner. 10 to shoot for Carius. Three on the shot clock, the long trade from Sandage drops! Colton Sandage, huge triple here, and the lead is down to 6.
That shot isn't possible if he doesn't stick his nose in on the defensive end of the floor and get a possession for his team.
That's a great point. Jurgens now cannot hit at the rim. Can Western get a little closer?
Alex, do you think that Western Illinois had rebounding emphasized to them at halftime?
I gotta think Rob Jeter and company maybe wrote that on the whiteboard once or twice. Carius could not finish acrobatically at the tin this time.
He was hoping to get bailed out by a foul. He was going to pass up until the last minute.
Just 2 points tonight for Will Carius.
That's why he's second in the conference in minutes played per ball game, behind only Max Asmus.
Top 7 in the league in every major statistical category. Shang Weaver misses everything this time. ORU now 1 for 8 in the second half after shooting near 50% in the opening 20 minutes. Western Illinois keeping them out of the paint and keeping them off the O glass as Carius, the spin, the finish, and the foul.
Great offensive patience. And what I mean, he looks where the double team's coming from. The double team thought he was going to spin to his strong shoulder. Right here, he sees Weaver. He goes away from the pressure, puts his shoulder to the rim. Nice job by Carius of understanding, hey, the double team's coming that way. I'm not going to play into that game.
Will Carius, the graduate student from Bettendorf, Iowa. Big bucket there. Just 4 points tonight on 2 of 7 shooting. He averages nearly 15 a game. That basket, though, has made it an 8-0 run. Another 3 does not drop for the Golden Eagles.
And Alex, right now, Oral Roberts kind of on their heels, and they're settling for shots that they did not do in the first 20 minutes. Western Illinois has this game at the pace, and especially in the half court defensively, right where they want it now.
The polar opposite of what we saw in the first half. Barisic now. And this will be a jump ball. Lotsis able to tie him up inside.
Good job by Lotsis, and he also used that end line there, Alex, as an extra defender. He had nowhere to go.
Lotsis at 6'7", able to get the hand on the ball of the bigger Luka Barisic. And that amounts to a turnover with the possession arrow pointing the way of the Golden Eagles. 4-point ball game. Lotsis, make it 7. Second tray of the night for Francis Lotsis. He's got 8. That was a big basket for Oral Roberts. They hadn't scored in nearly 3 minutes.
Good sequence for Latsis all the way around because it started on the defensive end.
That's right.
Getting his team with possession.
Trenton Masner, the answer right back. About 15 now for Masner. Back to a 5-point ball
Sorry,
game.
Alex, a little bit of a 2-3 look here, and then they're trapping with the ball on the ball reversal.
Phipps, the long tray, does not drop. ORU continues to struggle from deep here in this second half. Just 1 for 6 from behind the arc. Masner doesn't get the bounce. Second effort by Cameron Burrell.
Smart job by Burrell, not trying to finish in traffic. Understanding, and Masner came and bailed him out.
7 to shoot for Masner. He'll step back and fire over Latsis and knock down the triple. Trenton Masner with 18, the lead down to 2. The Leathernecks coming to play here in the seconds. Max Asmus, though, a big bucket to settle things down for the squad from Tulsa, Oklahoma. 9 points now for Asmus to go along with 4 assists and 4 rebounds. Barisic bodied that time by Latsis. The foul going to the Latvian.
And Barisic has to be careful the next time he's in that situation, because Oral Roberts, the defender there, was making a point that the officials next time are going to keep an eye on. Looked like he almost came up with a swim move and hooked the defender there.
Get the hook and hold going. Yeah. Latsis will sit. Just his first personal on the night. Barisic, who is 2 for 2 from deep, cannot connect this time. Pearson, though, able to get the offensive rebound over Lufile. Too strong, though, on the turnaround attempt.
A lot of guys in this conference or nationally would have been dislodged because Pearson's not a small guy, and he put his shoulder right into Lufile, and Lufile said, take that.
Weaver over Barisic. Boy, both teams struggling a little bit here midway through the seconds. Western shooting 46% from the floor, Oral Roberts 42%, but just 23% in this half. Masner too short this time.
That's a shame because he got an outstanding screen to free him up.
McBride trying to get something going. Over to Weaver in the corner. DeShang Weaver for 3. A 5-0 run for the Golden Eagles, pushing the lead back to 7.
And Weaver was that wide open because Pearson lost his footing on the closeout.
Mel Pearson able to muscle that one up, couldn't get the shot to fall. Carlos Jurgens held up by Carius in transition. Weaver, back-to-back trays for DeShang Weaver.
That experience, he was able to do that with both coaches there when they were coaching at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. George is from Milwaukee, and that's where that connection started so young, and it's grown into what it is now.
Great story, Elena. Dixon, a spark plug for this team in the first half. They need something here to get back within single digits. Carius in and out. Nice putback, though, by Cameron Burrell.
Burrell, nice job of getting to the opposite side of the rim. They don't put a body on him. He's also given some quality minutes.
First bucket of the night for Burrell. A 6'7" junior from Chicago. 8-point ball game approaching the halfway points of the second half in our final quarterfinal. DeShang Weaver, can he do it again? Yes! Weaver with 3 trays here in the second half. He's got 11. Remember last year in the quarterfinals, over at the Sanford Pentagon, he went off for 18 against North Dakota. Already in double figures off the bench.
Nice pass.
Look at Burrell inside, back-to-back buckets now for Cameron Burrell.
Really good pass, Alex, and a good job by Burrell of riding his defender up the lane. He took it up there. That created the passing angle for Carius.
Good closeout by Carius this time, preventing Weaver from getting another look from deep. McBride, the stutter step, the hesitation, and the lay-in. Double figures now for Isaac McBride.
Alex, there's a time to go fast, and McBride can do that, but there's also a time to change pace, and that was a great example of why you don't have to go 100 miles an hour all the time.
Sandage with an answer triple with Lufile in his face. Colton Sandage now 2 of 7 from the outside, but they have been a pair of big triples. Western Illinois down by 8. Lufile! In and out! That did not go in!
That's right, it did not clear.
How about that? The alley-oop with authority did not clear the cylinder. Masner off the mark for 3. Sandage, how about that? Back-to-back trays for Colton Sandage and a 5-point swing in this game.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I was going to say, Alex. And Sandage getting it going, but what a big swing. Not just in terms of what it does tangibly, but also intangibly in terms of confidence.
Sandage now with 9. McBride cannot hit.
And right now would be a good time if you're going to go inside at Lufile, because you could draw a cheap foul. He is tired right now. He's waiting for the 8-minute mark.
He's been working hard at both ends. Barisic, though, the lefty hook does not drop this time. In and out. Asmus taken away by Masner. A huge game tonight. 16 points, 13 rebounds. This close to 18 points and a little bigger advantage for his side. Instead, the lead is down to 5, under 8 to play. North Dakota State, the 2 seed, awaiting the winner tomorrow night in the semifinals. Asmus spinning and finishing over Masner.
That is a difficult shot because Masner did just about everything you could hope to do.
Now Masner, the other end, blocked away by Weaver. Western Illinois claiming that ball was on the way down. No goaltend call, though.
And it did not hit the backboard before it was touched by the defender. I thought from our angle that was a pretty good no call. I thought it was still going up.
Sandage now picking Asmus's pocket.
Oh, what a play.
For the cause. Isaac McBride getting stitched up on the sidelines after diving for a loose basketball. We believe Elijah Lufile just lost a tooth, which was recovered after the scrum near midcourt. March, baby.
In other words, there's a lot going on.
Neither one of these teams wants to see their season end tonight. Masner, great take on the reverse.
And again, the change of pace. He starts at the right. Once he kind of gets up out, the defender gets up out of his stance, and that's all he needs. And then he uses the rim to shield off the defender and finish with the left hand. 20
points for Masner, 9 in this second half. And now Asmus has the basketball dribbled off his foot.
And how about the job of Dixon of moving his feet?
As Elena Lanchin mentioned earlier, Dixon just back into the lineup after suffering a broken hand earlier in the season. Playing big minutes tonight for Rob Jeter as Masner goes off the window and in. 3-point ball game, Sean.
And again, Alex, the change of pace and dribbling with a purpose. That little fan dribble created just enough of an angle. And then he understands why the good Dr. Naismith put the backboard up for to use it.
Weaver, a little short on the 3-point attempt.
He was going to launch that if they didn't close up.
Masner, who's got 22 tonight. His team was down by as many as 14 in the first half. They trailed by 12 at the break. They have chipped this lead down. They were down by 2 a couple of minutes ago. ORU stretched it back to double digits. Big block by Weaver, denying Burrell. Asmus on the take. Burrell able to affect the shot. Weaver, though, with the loose basketball. And now a foul is called.
Good Sandage, I think.
That might be number 3 on Colton Sandage. He's the first for either team to hit the 3 personal foul threshold, as you see Isaac McBride fresh off the bench with the bandage over the left eye. Thompson on the take. Tough finish from Kareem Thompson. Just his third made field goal of the night.
Remember, at the beginning of the ball game, he had two early baskets very, very similar to that.
Thompson, one of 3 returning starters from Oral Roberts' run to the Sweet 16 a season ago. Here's one of the others.
They may have given it to Sandage.
No, I think you were right in the first place. I think it is a technical foul on Nasner. So Sandage picks up his 4th personal.
I knew there was a 5 in there.
Yeah, Nasner, I'm not sure if he kicked the ball away after the sequence, but the basketball went all the way over beyond the boundary. That's a tough sequence of events. Asmus, one of the best free throw shooters in the country, knocks them both down. 13 points now for Max Asmus. The Summer League Player of the Year a season ago. And now the lead is 7, and the Golden Eagles have the basketball. McBride able to get the basketball back that time after being caught in no man's land. Thompson. Fouled by Barisic on the way up.
And Barisic bailed him out because Thompson was out of control and off balance. If he just stands straight up and down, watch right there. Just enough when he leaned and lost his balance, that bails out Thompson, because if he maintains verticality, Kareem Thompson was out of control.
ORU slowly starting to regain control of this contest. Paul Mills' team trying to get back to the semifinals. A season ago, they beat North Dakota in the first round over at the Sanford Pentagon here in Sioux Falls. Able to take care of business in round 2 in a thriller over South Dakota State, and then they knocked off North Dakota State in the title game before embarking on that outstanding run, beating the 2-seed Ohio State as a 15 seed, and then knocking out Florida in the round of 32 before the dream finally ended against Arkansas as Lotsis collides with Carius. A lot of collisions in this contest.
Both teams playing hard. Good job of mixing up the defense by Oral Roberts in that particular possession. They went zone. It took Western Illinois a little bit of time to recognize it, and Lotsis may take a little bit of time to recognize anything after that collision.
Western has not scored for the last 2 minutes. A 6-0 run by the Golden Eagles has taken what was a 3-point advantage and pushed it back to 9. McBride. The lane opens up. Couldn't get the finish. Dixon there.
Nice rebound of traffic, Alex. 2 hands by Dixon.
Big possession for the Leathernecks. Trying to get back into this contest. Approaching the 4-minute mark. Nasner, the go-to man all season for WIU, fouled.
The reason Western Illinois, one of them that they've been able to climb back in this thing, Alex, has been the fact that they've done a much better job of limiting Oral Roberts to 1 shot, something you didn't see in the first half.
Yeah, the rebound advantage was heavily skewed to the 3 seed in the opening 20 minutes. Western Illinois has made that more of an even contest here in the second half. A couple of big free throws from Nasner, 22 points now for the junior.
Again, the zone look off the made free throw by Western Illinois. And Coach Rob Jeter imploring his team to show their hands.
Asmus. This time, the alley-oop goes all the way through. Asmus to Lafile, the lead back to 9.
How about the unselfishness by the conference's leading scorer to come under control? He had a good shot from mid-range, gave it up for a better one.
5 assists now for Asmus, 18 points, 13 boards for Lufile. He affects the shot by Nasner on the other end and collects the rebound for good measure. North Dakota State awaiting the winner of this one tomorrow night in the second semifinal. We know it will be South Dakota State taking on South Dakota. 6 o'clock start for that one in semifinal number 1.
You have, and then come down on the defensive end, because right now you have to make sure you get as many possessions as you possibly can.
2:45 to go in our last quarterfinal. And now a foul here as Lotsis got the arm in and held up Barisic as he went to make the screen.
Now,
16th foul, by the way, so still not quite in the bonus.
Right, exactly, Alex. Sorry about that. Now, if you are Western Illinois, you drive the ball, because if you get fouled, now you're going to be in the bonus with a chance to cut into the lead with the clock stopped.
Sandage on the floor with 4 fouls. Barisic, he's hit a couple of threes tonight. Pearson able to track down the rebounds. Masner backs it up with 13 to shoot. He'll take Lufile to the rim and get fouled on the way. Third personal on Elijah Lufile. More free throws coming for Trenton Masner.
And Lufile, much like Latzis a couple of times, the big man in a mismatch situation, and Masner savvy enough to understand, hey, when you have a defender, if we talk about people getting out of their comfort zone offensively, you can do the same thing to somebody defensively. That was a great example.
We should clear up one fact from earlier. We mentioned Elijah Lufile. It looked like he had lost a tooth. It actually was a contact, we've been told. So to his folks watching, it's no more dental work. Just a contact. A little easier to replace. Masner now 4 of 4 in this second half from the free throw line. He's got 26 points. He's carried the load offensively. He and Pearson, the only 2 Leathernecks in double figures. 7-point game. Smith.
Good active hand. Nice job of coming over there and keeping the play alive. That's big.
Max Smith misses on the tray. They get the offensive rebounds. Smith finishes in the paint. The lead back to 9.
Big play by Latzis to keep that alive. He wasn't able to corral the offensive rebound, but he got a hand on it and kept the possession alive.
8 points, 7 boards for Francis Latzis. Masner does not get the roll inside. Pearson keeps it alive for a moment. McBride, though, ultimately comes down with the loose basketball. And now time and possessions running short. Under 90 seconds to play. Oral Roberts with 1 foot in the semifinals now. And Max Smith happy to eat clock near midcourt.
Oh, if you're going to foul, you have to do it earlier in the shot clock than that, Alex. That's just a breakdown.
George Dixon coming across on the double team, makes contact with the Oral Roberts point guard. Free throws on the way for Smith. 85% from the line this season. The young man from Rockwall, Texas. The nation's leading scorer a year ago. Preseason All-American on every level. The ORU faithful. They saw their team go on a magical run a season ago. They're getting it started for round 2 here tonight.
And he's certainly a tremendous scorer, but I tell you, the thing that really stands out to you is the fact that he's not always hunting for his own. I mean, he's very, very unselfish.
You're one of the Summit League's leaders in assists. Tops in minutes per game, tops in 3-point field goals made per game, tops in third in 3-point field goal percentage. A do-everything player for the Gold.
You keep the ball in the hands of your outstanding foul shooting backcourt.
Full court pressure by the Leathernecks. McBride and Smith able to get across the timeline. And there is the foul by Masner. .50 seconds left in this contest. ORU closing in on another trip to the semifinals. They have won this tournament championship 4 times in their history. 3 in a row in 06, 07, 08. All those tournaments were held in Tulsa. And finally the breakthrough in Sioux Falls a season ago. You can't win the whole thing without winning the quarterfinals, John. And they have weathered a storm a bit here in this second half, but you can see the talent and the explosiveness and what makes this ORU team so dangerous this time of year tonight.
You know, this is a team in Oral Roberts. They put up about 84 points per ball game, but they've also made a lot of the nitty-gritty plays when they've had to, especially on the backboards. They're a really good rebounding team, and they've answered when Western Illinois has put forth a tremendous effort. They've answered just as seemingly every flourish that the Leathernecks have been able to provide.
18 points, 14 rebounds for Elijah Lufile tonight. 17 points for Max Asmus. Foul a moment ago there by McBride on the Sandage drive will stop the clock and send Colton Sandage to the free throw line. It's going to take something special for this Western team to claw their way back in. Signs of improvement, though, for Rob Jeter in year 2. Another step forward for this program, even if the season ends here tonight. Dixon, the personal foul, as Asmus will continue the parade to the free throw line. An 11-point ball game.
You take a look at Western Illinois, to your earlier point, Alex. You know, Masner still has some eligibility left. Sandage coming in, coming off a solid year a year ago. This is the team that stuck together, hung together, and got better as the year unfolded. And if you're a coach, and whether it's Rob Jeter or anybody else, that's really all you can ask for.
Paul Mills' crew getting set to move on to the semis. His opposition, you mentioned it is a younger team. They have a lot of guys that will likely be done with their collegiate careers. Will Carius, a graduate student. Same thing with Luka Barisic. It's so tough to know exactly who's got eligibility left these days, but a lot of juniors on the roster. A couple of talented freshmen for Rob Jeter's crew as well. They're not too far removed from the glory days. They had a couple of years in the Mid-Con where they were one of the top teams in that league. They won a Summit League regular season title about 10 seasons ago. Rob Jeter's a good coach, and they're going to get things turned around in Macomb, and he's got a lot of the pieces to do it already in place.
And the challenge that he faces, as really any coach at the collegiate level now faces, is keeping the group together. That's a challenge for everybody. But especially when you're trying to put the pieces in place, you just want to make sure that you get as many guys to hang together as you possibly can.
Here's Sandage now, not giving up the fight, able to pick off the inbounds pass. Barisic did not connect for 3. The lead remains 11, 29 seconds to go. There's the foul here and the takedown. The reversal that time for Tamel Pearson.
Hey, Pearson had a nice game for Western Illinois. He was really about the only offense they had for about the first 5 or 6 minutes of the ball game. Made his first 4 shots. Really good performance by Pearson in there.
14 points for Tamel Pearson. All of those coming in that first half. Pearson listed as a junior. Likely back next season. Colton Sandage called for that last foul. He will foul out tonight. 11 points for the junior from Bloomington, Illinois. Asmus back to the free throw line. The way the free throw game has gone, the final score is not going to reflect how close this game was in the second half. Western Illinois within 2 and within 3 on 2 different occasions. Late in this contest as a rare miss goes Asmus's way. Masner trying to go quick. Last touch by the Golden Eagles. For ORU, there's so much promise in this program. We saw it a season ago. That run to the Sweet 16 really galvanized the fan base. They led the Summit League in attendance this season. Over 4,000 a game at the Navy Center, almost double over anybody else in the conference. It's a basketball hotbed down there in Tulsa. Paul Mills' team lit the spark last year. Imagine what another run like that could do for that program.
And imagine this team, kind of to pay off an earlier point, if Kevin O'Banner had stuck around.
O'Banner, a pretty good season for Texas Tech this year. They got Max Asmus to stay. All the other key players from a season ago stuck around. And ORU, a similar formula as a season ago, able to get the win in round number 1 and move on to the Summit League semifinals.